32.2 on the back, number 22. This is part of Concept 20, graphing conic sections. When I start to graph, before I even do anything, look at the sign in between. Look at how the equation is set up. Both of them are squared, so it's not a parabola. This minus sign is a big tip-off. As soon as you see minus, now we're thinking hyperbola. So we'll start with the center first. The x-coordinate comes from these parentheses. Opposite of +1 is -1. And the y, there's no parentheses at all, so that's a 0. So when we start with our center, it's -1, 0, left 1. For h or v, horizontal or vertical, we look at the very first variable. The first variable is the x. That tells us that it's going to open left and right, just like your x-axis goes left to right, which means it's horizontal. These are your vertices. And then the other thing we need is the slopes of the asymptotes. And it's actually easier to get that stuff once we graph it. So if we go back to graphing, underneath the x we see the 9. Square root of 9 gives us the 3. That tells us we have to go from the center 3 spots to the left and 3 to the right. There's 1, 2, 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3 to the right. Same thing with the y's. Underneath the y we see a 16. The square root of that is 4. So up and down from the vertex, 4 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, since it's hyperbola, a lot of people will want to connect these and make an ellipse, but we already know it's hyperbola, so we're going to draw that box pattern through those 4 outer points. These diagonals are your asymptotes, which gives us a guideline to draw the 2 parabolas. And again, we decided it was horizontal because the x was first, which means one parabola will have this point on the right as a vertex. The other parabola will have this point on the left as the vertex. And now we should be able to answer the rest of it, fill the rest of this information in. One vertex would be this point that we started with on the right side. This point is at +2. And 0 since it didn't go up and down. This point on the other side is -1, -2, -3, -4. So that'd be -4 and 0. And then the slopes of the asymptotes. Remember, now we're finding the rise and the run for these asymptotes. And we've already got pretty much what we need here for the rise and the run. The square roots give us the rise and run. The y is the rise. The square root of the 16 was 4, so there is our rise. The x gives us the run. Square root was 3. One of these slopes is going in a positive direction, positive or negative. The other one's going down in the negative slope. So our 2 slopes will be ±4/3.